Good evening, everybody. Hope you can see my screen also. Yes. We'll wait for exactly 2 minutes. Okay. We'll get started at 6:01. Great. All right. So day before yesterday, we started with the TCS exclusive training, right, for Ninja recruitment, right, through our nerd program. Yes. So it's been 2 days. Yesterday you would have had the technical session, and today it's going to be on aptitude, as you see on the screen, right? And I believe all of you are taking your practice test and you are practicing all the sections like both aptitude and technical also well, right? Because attending sessions regularly is important, and it is equally important as attending the practice tests also. Okay, whatever you have learned, we are approaching, right? So we are proceeding through a question based learning, right? Yes, obviously, like through node program, you would have learned so many topics, but for TCS specific, we are dealing with question based learning. And in upcoming sessions of the nerd program, yes, you will get to learn the remaining topics also. The most important topics like were already covered through nerd program, right? There are like some important topics which are pending with respect to numerical ability, right? And we have already started with the reasoning, and we are yet to start with the verbal ability sessions. And regarding TCS verbal ability, day after tomorrow, you will be having the TCS verbal session. Okay. So by now, as 2 sessions were over, we are expecting at least one thing from everyone. Yes, there are like the levels of different students would be different, right? So you would be strong at one topic, like the other one would be strong at another section. Let's say one is strong in aptitude and the other is strong at technical, but both are equally important, right? So because as we already said, we are repeating the same thing. TCS Ninja is going to be a linear test, right? You cannot switch back to previous question. That is a very important checkpoint we can have, right? We will have in TCS Ninja test. So we should be very very well prepared for that part alone. Okay. And you should be equally strong in both the sections as well. Okay. And one more important thing, right? So one more important expectation from you guys is you should be aware of the pattern first. Yes. Now, like definitely you should be aware, right? So we discussed yesterday, Kamalarsan would have discussed regarding the pattern for technical, and day before yesterday we discussed the pattern for aptitude, right? How many questions with respect to quants, how many questions in logical, I mean reasoning ability, right? And then thirdly, verbal ability. So the important topics might be covered, right? So it would be covered today with respect to reasoning, but the pattern, the number of questions, and the duration, everything would have been made clear. Yes. So you should be very well clear with the topics, right? There might be some variations in the number of questions they ask, but the topics they are going to ask, right? So that may or may not change, right? So there can be some extra topics, but they'll not like ignore the currently discussed topics, whatever we have discussed, right? So those topics would be a part, definitely. Okay, the number of questions might differ. So we are looking in a like in the long term. So whatever the topic they are including, right? Even as I advised in the first session, I hope all of you would have taken the official TCS Ninja mock test, right? So it is available in the like TCS ION, right? TCS Ion Hub in that link, and I have posted the assessment link also. That assessment link might not work for somebody. Okay, the reason being I attended that test through that link, so that might not work for you guys. So you can directly go to TCS Ion Hub and then go to the mock test link and then take the test, right? So then only you can have a clear-cut experience of how the questions is going to be and how the test is actually going to be. All right. So first things first. So as I already told, today's session is going to be on reasoning ability. So the pattern for reasoning ability is going to be 30 questions, 50 minutes, 50 minutes. Okay. So like the number of questions is more, and as right, in consequence with that, the number of minutes, right? So the time duration also is more for reasoning. But comparatively, what I should say is, compared to numerical, reasoning ability would be so easy, right? If I say numerical ability is easy, reasoning ability would be very easy, right? Yes, as always. Fine. So 30 questions, 50 minutes is going to be the pattern for reasoning ability. And the important topics regarding this, the numbers given here are the like the minimum expected numbers. Okay, figures and factual analysis. Okay, so based on some pictures given or else some facts given, you need to analyze and give a response regarding that. So we are going to see those type of questions, and then visual reasoning, right? So based on a picture, right? So it can be analogy type, or else it can be like a series, right? A picture which is in the series. So what would be the next picture in that way? Or else it can be a paper cutting. So what would be the next piece? Okay. Or else it might be a cube. Okay. So if you fold a cube, or else if you cut a cube and then modify it, what would be the faces opposite? So in that way, the visual reasoning questions could be. And this you know already, statement and conclusion, and statements and assumption, or statement and arguments based. Okay, and the statement and course of action. So there would be a statement given. Based on that, okay, what can be the possible conclusions we can give? Okay, based on the statements, what can be the possible conclusions we can give? And assumptions. So what are the assumptions we have to consider, or else what are the valid assumptions which are implicit so that the statement is valid? That would be one type. And it can be arguments also, right? So when I mean argument, it could be like which strengthens the given statement and which weakens the given statement. So that is called argument. Okay, then course of action, right? So the next is decision making, right? So there would be a like a set of information would be given, right? So some piece of information in the form of statements, or else in the form of a paragraph, or else some eligibility criteria regarding selection of a particular person, or else based on some qualifications of a person would be given. So whether that person will be eligible for that particular role, or else will he be considered for that particular role. So like that, based on a piece of information, you need to decide. Okay, let's say for example, let's take the eligibility for TCS NQT itself. Okay, there are a set of eligibilities, right? So you should be this year of pass out, you should have scored these much minimum marks, right? So these are the various criteria for TCS Ninja, right? So based on that, you will decide so whether I'm eligible or not. So in that way, Based on the information given in the question, they'll be asking a question statement. So you have to decide and answer it. That is decision making. Ranking and ordering, right? So this is more a kind of seating arrangement kind of questions, right? So the orders would be given with in the form of clues, direct clues and indirect clues, right? So based on that, you need to let's say there are a set of persons who stands in the queue. Okay, so who stands first, who stands in the middle, so like that the questions could be, right? This is how you can understand like each and every the topics, right, which comes under reasoning, and the rest of the topics are very much obvious, right? Series completion, number series, it could be letter series. Okay, it could be a combination of letters and numbers also. Odd man out, coding, decoding, right? Coding and decoding. Some statements or else some word would be coded with some other code, right? Would be coded as something else, and they'll be asking what will be the code for this code. So like that, the questions would be. And blood relations, data sufficiency, and syllogism. All these are like very straightforward questions. So blood relations would be either picture based questions, right? That is photograph based questions, or else it could be statement based. With respect to data sufficiency, you are not expected to give the exact answer for the question. What you need to do is you need to decide whether the given piece of information, let's say they would be giving some two statements. Usually they'll give two statements. You need to check the sufficiency of the statements. Okay. After giving two statements, they'll be asking a question. You need to decide whether statement one alone is sufficient or two alone is sufficient, or both are required to answer the question. Okay, so we need not want the answer for the question, whether it is answerable or not. If answerable, how many statements I need? Okay, that is called data sufficiency check, which is an important topic under reasoning ability. This is a an irreplaceable topic in most of the recruitments. Syllogisms, right? So ignoring the general facts and truth, they'll say all pens are pencils. Okay, so we cannot ask like how all pens can be pencils, sir. Yes, that is what this question could be, right? So the general facts and truths would be ignored. Okay, they'll say like all cars are blues, right? All skies are black, right? All sky are black. So like that the questions could be, right? So there will be a set of statements given. You should decide the conclusions that can be made, which we will be solving using Venn diagrams. Okay, so this is the topic wise analysis, right? And these numbers are like very tentative. Okay, these numbers are like very much tentative, so the number of questions might differ, and there might be some extra questions also. Let's say there might be questions with respect to calendars also. That might be a surprise for us. Okay, that might be the surprise TCS is having for us, right? There are questions from calendars which have been asked in the previous years. So like so far, based on the mock test and the recent announcements, right? So these are the various topics that are observed to be there in the like official TCS Ninja test. All right. Okay, I have a question from Chetan. Difference between statement and conclusion and syllogism. Okay, so a syllogism question can be called as statement and conclusion based, but not vice versa. Statement and conclusion could be, right? So they'll be giving a piece of information. Let's say two statements would be given, right? So based on that, what can be answered? Okay, what can be answered? So we are having a question, right? We are having questions based on statement and conclusion. So you would see, right, in the session itself, we'll be seeing those type of questions. Okay. Great. So far, so good. Can we get started with the first question? So is there any doubts until now? Are we good? Yes, seating arrangements, Pragati, yes, seating arrangements also is a part. So that is actually will come under ranking and ordering, right? That is how you arrange a linear arrangement, right? A linear arrangement of the given data, that is actually comes under ranking and ordering. Okay, so seating arrangements also would be there. Yes, syllogism is decided based on Venn diagrams only, right? So we are going to solve using Venn diagram approach only, which is the most the accurate way of solving syllogism questions. Okay, accurate and clear way. Great. So moving on to our first question. So based on a Venn diagram, the number in the Venn diagram indicates the number of persons who can speak various languages in a city. The diagram is drawn after surveying 200 persons in a in a population of 15,000. How many people can be expected to speak in Hindi language only? This is an observation based on a city, right? In a city with 200 people. In the same way, in a population of 15,000, what could be the exact, right, the expected number of people who speaks Hindi language only? Okay. Yes, I have one more query. Yes, clocks also, right? Clocks also, clocks and calendars, right? So clocks questions also were asked in the previous years, right? So in some of the papers, so better be prepared on clocks also, right? In the upcoming sessions, right? So every alternate days we'll be having alternate, that is aptitude sessions. So we'll be having a mixture of those questions also, right? So though it is not being highly expected, let's have it as a safer side. For the safer side, we will have questions in those topics also, right? 3150 option C is the like answer from most of you people. Great. Yes, it is a very easy question. So in the given data in a city of 200 people, so totally 200 is the actual number. So here, how many people are expected, right? How many people are expected to speak in Hindi language if the population is 15,000, right? Like for 200, right? For 200, 42. 42 is the number of people, right? Number of persons who speaks only Hindi, right? So out of 242, right? So what is this much percentage, right? So the same percentage, or else we can say the same fraction for 15,000 we need to find. Okay. Before that, you need to be very, very clear. So this 42 could be, right? If this 42 is only Hindi, right? This 42 here is only Hindi. Similarly, 46 is only Hindi. This 34 is both Hindi and Urdu, right? Similarly, this 20 is how much? 20 is Hindi, both Hindi and English, right? Similarly, this 12 is both Urdu and English, right? So better to be on the safer side. Let's calculate the number separately, because this 42, what if this 42 is the total, right? The total number of people, but here it is not possible. 34 8, this itself is 42, and we have 20 also. So crystal clear, 42 is only Hindi, right? So because we have to interpret the data clearly, right? So 42 out of 200. So what is this fraction for 15,000? So this would be the answer for this, right? So this is 21. So 15 20s are 3,000, as it is actually 150 is there. 15 20s are 3,000, right? And then 150 is also there. So 3150 is actually the answer. Very easy. Your next question. So this is called the data sufficiency question. Okay, this is the data sufficiency. For those who are not aware of this type of question, I'm telling once again. So as a question is given, followed by two statements, right? So this is the question given. What amount A gives in partnership? 1 and 2 are the statements, each containing some information. Decide which of the statements is or are sufficient to answer the question. A and B bought a bike with a partnership in the proportion of 4:3 respectively. What amount A gives in partnership? So two statements are given. This is statement 1 and this is statement 2. So firstly, you have to approach statement 1 alone. You have to take the data in statement 1 alone. Using that, you should decide whether you can answer the question or not. Okay. If not, go to statement 2, right? Even if you can get the answer from statement 1, go to statement 2. Okay, because the question given here is combination of statement 1 and 2 is not sufficient, statement 2 alone is sufficient, combination of the statements 1 and 2 are necessary, then 1 alone is sufficient. So 4 set of options are given. Very good. Statement 2 alone is sufficient from most of you. Great. So regarding this type of question, right, data sufficiency question, what you should do is, I'll tell the approach once again. You should approach the question, which means that what is the question asked here? What amount A gives in partnership? We know that it is given 4:3 is the exact data. A is to B. Okay. So A gives 4 parts, B gives 3 parts, not the exact value since it is a ratio. B gives 75% that of A's money in the partnership. So which means that 3 parts is actually 75%. So 4 parts is going to be 3 parts is 75%. So 1 part is going to be 25%. So 4 parts is 100%. But again, we are having the value as percentages, but we want the exact amount. So which means that with statement 1 alone, I cannot answer this question. That is, I cannot find what amount A gives in partnership with the help of first statement only. So I am ignoring the first statement now. Okay. Coming to statement 2, B gives rupees 4,500 in the partnership. So directly given, B is giving 4,500 rupees in the partnership. So that is given as a ratio, which is nothing but 3 parts is for B. So 3 parts is 4,500, right? So I can find 1 part. I'm not going to find that. With respect to this, I can find 4 parts, which is actually A's contribution. So I'm not, I'm not aware of the answer, and I don't want that answer also. But I can answer this question with what data? With the statement or else the data available in statement 2 alone. So I need not combine the statement also, right? So statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer. This is how you approach data sufficiency questions, right? And some persons will have the confusion. Okay, I'll tell you why. Even though I had right, even though I got the answer from second statement alone, again they will take the data with the first statement. Okay, they will combine both the statements and they will comfortably find the answer again, and they will choose both the statements are necessary to answer. That is a wrong approach. Okay, if you get the answer from statement 1 alone itself, right, you should stick to your answer. That is statement 1 alone is sufficient. Okay, unless and until there is one more option given, statement 1 alone or statement 2 alone is necessary to answer. Either with the help of statement 1 or statement 2, I can answer this question. Okay, with the help of first statement, you can get a different answer. With the help of second statement, your answer might be different. Okay, that is not a problem. But you should be able to get the answer with either of the statements. If that option is given, then you can go for statements like individually analyzing each and every statement. Okay, but here only 4 options are given and this option is not available. Okay, so clearly our answer is option B, which is pretty straightforward. Great. Next question. In each of the 5 pairs of the letter clusters, the letter in the second term is a rearranged or transformed form of the letters in the first term in a particular pattern. In which 2 pairs the transformation has been done the same way? So you need to find the pairs, right, in which the transformation from this form, this to this, right, is same. Like either A and B or A and D, B and C or B and C. A and D, right? Okay. Option B, option D also from some of you. Okay, right. So in this, rather than confusing with the given statements, right? So you will look for A and B and A and C or B and C. If you're going through like analysis through these given transformed patterns, you will get into a lot of patterns, right? You will get into a lot of combinations wherein you might find difficult to solve or else you might waste time. Rather than that, you can directly go through options A and B. Okay, check A and B. Here, observe first word, right? So this is let's call this as a word and this as the code. Okay, okay, for our convenience, this as word and this as the code, right? So S, the first letter remains the same. The last two letters are brought as second and the third. Then the first two, the second and the third letters U, B are reversed, right? U and B are reversed, and it is written as BU. Check the like pair B, the pair which is given in B, N, and this is changed, right? So obviously this is eliminated because the first letter should remain the same, right? As per A and B. Coming to A and D, A, we have observed the pattern of A. First letter remains the same. Last two letters comes as the second and the third letters, and then second and third letters is reversed and wrote it in the last part. So let's check whether D is written in the same way. H remains. First letter remains as it is. Last two letters comes as it is. Okay, to the second and the third letter position. P and U, the second and third letters are reversed and comes to the last as UP. So this is actually the right pattern. A and D is the right answer. Right? So this should be clear to everyone. Yes. Next question. Which is the wrong term in the following series? Option C from some of you, option A also, option D also. Okay, one more option is remaining. Anyone want to take a call on that? Great. Great people. So this is a what type of question? Wrong term, which is nothing but choosing the odd term, right? Which the one who violates the pattern, right? Choosing the odd man out. Okay. One who is odd, right? He will be out. He will be the outstanding person, right? Whoever is odd. Yes. So we need to observe the pattern here first. We need to know what is the pattern actually, and then we have to identify who violates that pattern. Okay. Who is the culprit? PBD, right? So just by looking at these letters, so these are not words. These are not clear-cut words, and they cannot identify anything. So obviously, with the letter series, right? So this is not a number series. So this is a letter series. If it is number series, what we will do? We'll look for differences, or else if there is a combination of multiplication and division, okay, or else is there any prime number pattern, okay? If the numbers are given here, if it follows any prime number pattern or else square numbers, cube numbers, okay, we look for n number of possibilities. But being letter series, the first thing we have to look is the place values of the alphabets. Okay, right. So let's take some time in this because there are questions. Definitely, right? Definitely there will be questions based on letter series. Okay, so this will be helpful towards the long term also. Okay, so one, right? So from A to Z, Only 26 letters are there. But how many of you are very sure that like you can exactly tell the place values of every letter? Okay, without writing A to Z, without writing A to Z and putting it numbers. Okay, so using that, if you remember the place values, this question is like a piece of cake. Okay, so let me take this P, D, D. For my convenience, I'm writing using capital letters. So whatever it is, the number, the place value is not going to change. V, L, P, X, and T. So in this, all these are following a pattern. That is, all these are three letters. That is three-letter, terms. Okay, we cannot call it as a word. Three-letter terms. So P, right? The place value of P is 16, right? So you need to remember all the place values are A to Z. Okay, P is 16, B is 2, D is 4, R is 18, E is 5, H is 8, T is 20, H is 8, L is 12, V is 22, L is 12 again, P is 16, X is 24, N is 14, T is 20. Okay, so if you remember this, problem done. Look at the first letter 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. No problem, right? We cannot, everyone follows the same. Coming to the second term, that is the middle term, 2, 5, that is plus 3. So what I'm doing, I'm converting everything to number series. So this will become more easy now. 5 plus 3 follows 8. But here it should be plus 3, right? So he is the culprit. So this should have been 11. So K should have been the actual letter here, right? Then if it is 11, 11 plus 3, 11 plus 3 is 14. So this term is correct. But this L, no, this guy, he is the black cat over there, right? So VLP is the odd man. Yes, you can remember EJOT also. Okay, to remember, yeah, this is a very famous thing, right? A, B, C, D, E, right? Then you can write all the alphabets as 5 letters. Okay, A, B, C, D, E. Then if you write the last letters, right? So these are multiples of 5. 5, this will be 10, O will be 15, T will be 20, Y will be 25. Then Z alone is 26, that you know already. So with respect to this, you can easily relate. Okay, suppose N, the closest letter is O. So if O is 15, N is 14. Like this also you can remember. Okay, or else you can have some cheat codes. Okay, cheat codes. I mean, they are not very much logical, right? F, G, H, I. For only some letters, I will remember using some algorithms, right? It's not like algorithms. I should not use that word also. Okay. So with some clues, I will remember. Okay. For example, for K, right? I will directly write the code is 11. Reason being, I will remember K for Kings 11 Punjab. Okay. That is the previous IPL name, right? So we have created these codes using when the Punjab Kings names was, right? Punjab Kings is now the new name. So Kings 11 Punjab, right, is the old name. So this got registered. Okay, so Kings 11. So K means 11, right? H, if I write it, I can close like this. So this is becoming like digital 8. So I'll remember H as 8. Okay, and G, when I write G, I'll put a 7 over here. Okay, this is like 7. So I'll remember G as 7. So that's how we can easily remember. And T is 20. Even if you don't remember as EJOT, T is 20. T20, 2020 cricket match. Nowadays it's becoming trending, right? So T is 20. Obviously, we should not remember every letter. Definitely we will forget. Okay. We should have cheat codes for only some letters so that relative to that. Okay, if I remember H, I'll remember I because I know H is 8, so I will be 9. Okay. So that's how we can easily remember the letters. So first 5 letters is not going to be a challenge, right? So after that, what happens? J, K, L. L 12, rhyming, right? L is 12. Then M is the middle number. So 26 by 30, 26 by 2, middle, so 13. M is 13. N, I'll remember N as November 14, right? The month which starts in N is November. So in November, the famous day is November 14, so Children's Day. MNOPQ. So G and Q are like similar, right? So they are like pairs. So I remember F and P as a pair, G and Q as a pair. Okay, if it is easy for you, remember. If G is 7, Q is 17. Okay, F is 6, P will be 16. It comes in the second half. Okay, PQR. R means right to vote. Okay, the voting right when it comes 18 ages. When you complete 18 ages, so R will be 18, right? Then S is next to R, so I need not have code for S. Okay, because I know T is 20, R is 18, right? Then U is age of UG students, right? So if there are any backlogs, okay, right? If there are any like there are any attempts, previous attempts, the age would be different. But generally, the age of UG students will be 21, or else you remember as your marriage age. Okay, you should get married at 21. Okay, which is highly impossible nowadays. So U means 21. Then V for victory, right? Symbol of victory. So people usually show their two fingers, right? The first two fingers as for victory. So that is indicating two. So two times of two. V is victory. Guys? Okay. UV. Then W and all, right? W, X, Y, Z. These numbers are easy. If you want a code for W, right? You rotate W. Rotate W anti-clockwise. So this is becoming like this. W will become like this. It definitely cannot be 3. It cannot be 13 also because M is 13, which comes in the middle order. So it should be 23. So that is how you can easily remember using some cheat codes. Understood? Shall we move on? You can remember using EJOT also. Okay. If you remember the 5 multiples, you can proceed with this. Otherwise, for some of the cheat codes, right? So we'll be like telling in detail, right? We'll be dealing in detail. We'll be discussing in the coding decoding session and exclusive coding decoding session and nerd session also. Okay, we'll practice more in that. So for now, remember how to solve the letter series problems. Okay, next question. Yes, again a data sufficiency question, but this is based on blood relations. Option C, that is both are necessary. Then I have some answer like A also. 1 and 2 also is not sufficient. Okay. I mean, I'm just reading out your responses. Okay. I'm not telling the answer. Option A, option C. Okay. Option C got the highest vote. All right. Okay. I think this question, right? So you need to find the number of males and females. Number of males and females in the family. Okay. I think the question is incomplete. I'm sorry. Number of males and females in the family. Okay, no changes. Again, option C. Great. So now that you know how to answer a data sufficiency question, let's proceed directly with the first statement. Okay. So in the blood relation session, we learned how to draw family chart. Okay, or else we call it as family tree, right? So using that, I'm gonna draw the family tree so that I can easily represent each and every information clearly. O and S are sons of T and Q. So T and Q are a couple. So we do not know who is the husband and who is the wife. So O and S are the sons. So we know that they are of male gender. So we represent this with a rectangle. Okay, and using the parallel lines because they are siblings. O and S are sons of T and Q. R is the mother of one boy and one girl. R is the mother of one boy and one girl. So clearly R is a female, one boy and one girl. So like in this, shall we answer this question? P, Q, R, S and T, right? P, Q, R, S and T. Actually, one more person also is there. Okay, the question seems to be incomplete. The exact question statement is not given. So one more person also would be there. Okay, consider P, Q, R, S, T, U. There are 7 members in the family. Okay, consider this data. There should be 7 members in the family. So in that, you cannot find the gender of U. Okay, with the first statement. Fine. You cannot find the gender of U with the help of data given in the first statement because O and S are sons. So they are male. O is male, S is male. Then T and Q. T and Q can be a couple. So definitely there should be one male and one female. Okay, we can easily count the number of males and females. And there is one more boy and one more girl also is there. Fine. But we do not have any idea regarding U. So first statement alone is not sufficient. So let's take the second statement also. T is the son of O and R. Son of O and R. So we know that R is the mother. So like she is the female gender and this is the double-headed arrow since they are a couple. So their son is P. Okay. So P, Q, R, S, T. So it is given that R is the mother of one boy and one girl, right? So that another girl must be U. Now it is clear, right? So with the help of second statement alone, I cannot answer. I need both the statements to answer. Okay. So combination of the statements 1 and 2 are necessary to answer this question. Okay. Okay, yeah, O is also, right? As you said, O is already given in the statement. So O, P, Q, R, S, T, and U. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So totally 7 members in the family, right? So that statement might be missing. Sorry. So for to answer this question, so like there will be only one statement, that is there are 7 members in the family, which is O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, and then we need to find the number of males and females. That is clear. Okay, that is the one-liner of the question. So hope you understood the answer, like how it is done. Definitely, like while looking at the data, any statement alone cannot be answered, right? And by combining both the statements, we can answer. Okay, the reason being R is the mother of one boy and one girl, and we can identify who is that boy and who is that girl, right? Because the entire set of family has been marked, right? So definitely, U is the T is that boy and U is that girl. So we can answer by using both the statements put together. So this is the answer for this question. Moving on to next question. This is a syllogism based question. Okay, syllogism. So ignoring the general truth, assuming the statements to be true, you have to assume that the statements to be true. So even if they do not conform to the real world knowledge, Decide which of the conclusion logically follows from the statements. Okay, I have a question from Manikandan. T and Q are parent of O. How can we find who is the mother and father? Okay, that part we don't want. Okay, so we need not find who is the mother and father, but we definitely know the father will be of male gender and mother will be of female gender, and either of them is going to be. So I need only the number of males and females. So I can easily count that. Okay, one of them could be right. One of them could be male and the other one could be the female, obviously, right? Because they are couples. Okay, so I need not find who is the husband and who is the wife in T and Q couple. Okay, with respect to your question for question 5. So most of you, right? So the answer is option D got the highest response. Fine. So the given statements are some cars are taxis, some taxis are buses. Okay, so it's not in the real world knowledge, it is not possible, but we have to assume, right? So we have to assume it to be true. So some cars are taxis. So this can be represented like this. Some cars are taxis. So these are like that some cars which are taxis. Okay, we are going to draw using, as I said already, Venn diagrams. Some taxis are buses. So some taxis are buses. So we have to assume only the data given in the statement. So we cannot put our own knowledge in that. Let's say you cannot combine cars and buses. So some buses could be cars. You cannot consider those statements. Okay. So this is the minimum requirement, right? So this is the minimum possibility. Fine. The conclusions are some cars are buses. So there are no connection between cars and buses. So first statement is, first conclusion is not possible. Some buses are cars. Again, not possible. There is no link between cars and buses. So third also neglected. All taxis are cars. All taxis are cars. This is a statement which we need to look at it. If it is given as all taxis are cars, but what is the relation between some cars are taxis? Cars is there. There are a lot of cars. Some cars are taxis. This is the relation. But some cars are taxis could be written like this also. Cars is the bigger circle. Taxis is the smaller circle. In this case also, these are some cars. This circular portion lies in car also. This belongs to cars. So some amount of cars are taxis. This is also true. So this is the maximum possibility and this is the minimum possibility. But we need to look at the conclusion, which is true in all the possibilities. In both the minimum and the maximum possibility, you should get the same conclusion. Okay, all taxis are cars is true in maximum possibility, but you cannot say the same response in the minimum possibility, right? So fourth statement is also not valid. Fourth conclusion is not valid. But if this is given as all taxis are cars, is a possibility. Is a possibility. Yes, it is possible. All taxis are cars is a possibility. Okay, because some cars are taxis, right? Cars is a bigger circle. A small proportion of cars is taxis, right? So all taxis are cars. That is the right possibility. Okay, this is not a definite conclusion. This is a possibility. If it is given as possibility, you can say fourth statement is valid, but it is not given in our actual question. So none of the conclusions follow. Great. So your next question. In a certain code, P at R means P is the grandson of R, and then dollar means, right? So if the dollar symbol is given, the first one is the brother of the second one, and hash means the first one is the mother of the second one. So for this, right, for this, that expression, then how is B related to D? Again, based on blood relation, the question is asked. Option A from most of you, that is mother. Okay, any other answer? Got it. So obviously this must be an easy question. So you need to, based on the symbol, I'm just writing the, I'm drawing the family diagram itself. At means P is the grandson of R, right? P at R means P is the grandson of R. So B, second generation, this is the first generation, and then second generation, right? So then only A could be the grandson, right? A is the grandson of B, correct? Then B, hash means P is the mother, right? P hash R means B is the mother. So B is the female gender that is known, right? B is the mother of C. B hash C means B is the mother of C. So C comes in the next generation. So we do not know the gender of C. Okay, it can be son of B or daughter of B. C dollar D. Dollar means P is the brother of R, right? So C and D are brothers, right? P is the brother. The first one is the brother. So C is the brother of D. So we do not know the gender of D, right? How is B related to D, right? We need not know the gender of D. D could be male or female, but definitely B is going to be the mother because B is C's mother. So she should be mother of D also. So pretty straightforward. Answer is option A, mother. The main issue with these type of questions is due to due to hurry, because there are 30 questions, right? Due to hurry, we might get carried away and we might go wrong in simple things, right? That is where the logical reasoning, the scoring part lies. Okay, so take some time to understand the question clearly and then solve it. Okay, hope this is clear to everyone. So shall we move on to next question? Are there any doubts so far? Great. So this is the statement and assumption based question which I told in the beginning. A statement is followed by three assumptions. Okay, so here it is two assumptions only given. So ignore this word. So two assumptions numbered 1 and 2. Okay. Consider the statement and decide which of the given assumptions is or are implicit. Okay. Implicit means which are like indirectly related. Okay, which is related to the first. That is called implicit. Okay, which is related to the statement, which is directly or indirectly related to the statement, which is closely associated to the statement. The statement is, shouldn't school psychologists be made compulsory in every school in India? That is the statement. Assumptions, Yes, that is the only way to improve overall development and adjustment of students throughout the school years. Second is no, it would be an extra burden of salary of school psychologist on government. So this type of question is called verbal reasoning, right? So this comes under reasoning, but you need verbal skills also. Okay. Visual reasoning questions and all would be non-verbal reasoning. So this is the type called verbal reasoning. Yes. Analyze the statements and assumptions carefully and answer. Option A, option B, option D. So most of the answers are option D. Both 1 and 2 are implicit. As I told, implicit means some information which is not very directly given but very closely associated. Okay, which is related to which is closely related to the statement, but it is given in a hidden manner. That is called being implicit. Okay, what is called explicit? It is explicitly given. Okay, which means that it is right away, right in front of you. It is given explicitly. That is called explicit. So opposite of that is implicit. Okay, coming back to question, most of their answers were option B. Okay, right. Statement is, shouldn't school psychologists be made compulsory in every school in India? Okay, so this is a statement. We need to look on the assumptions and we need to decide which assumptions are implicit, which is closely related to the statement. See, first, and it needs some understanding on the statement also. Okay, it needs some general opinion and also an universal opinion based on the information given in the statement. Okay, so school psychologists, whether they should be made compulsory in every school in India. This is the statement. Assumption first is yes, that is the only way to improve overall development and adjustment of students throughout the school years. Okay. Second is no, it would be an extra burden of salary of school psychologist on government. So here, the question, the statement is discussing on whether school psychologists should be made compulsory or not. What would be the answer for this question? Shouldn't. Okay, when I ask a question using an a modal auxiliary verb like this, okay, should you go to school today? Yes or no. Obviously, your answer would be no, right? So based on that, your answer could be yes or no. But what comes after this yes or no? Based on that only, you need to analyze, right? Based on that only, you need to give your response. So here, it is asking about whether we should make a school psychologist compulsory in school or not. Okay. So the first statement is talking about that is the only way to improve overall development and adjustment of students throughout the school years, right? So psychologist, based on the role of school psychologist and its functionality in every school, the first statement is indirectly related. Okay, that is when I have a school psychologist, right? I mean a psychologist in my school, right? It will improve the overall development and adjustment of students throughout the school years, right? Let's say what I mean overall development and adjustment of students, there could be some conflicts, there might be some disputes between students and different classes. Okay, if we have a psychologist, he will guide students in a better way, so that will definitely improve the overall development and adjustment of students. So this is implicit. First statement is implicit. That is very obvious that you know, right? Any disagreement in this? Are you clear with statement 1 being implicit one? Everyone? Are there any doubts with assumption 1? Okay, once more. Fine. See, the statement is talking about making psychologists in school is compulsory or not. That is what the statement is talking about. Okay. So, which statement is closely related? Which is the most relevant? Right? Most relevant or closely related to the question. The first statement talks about it improves, right? If you have a school psychologist, it will improve the overall development and adjustment of students throughout the school years, right? So this is perfectly matching, right? But it's not very explicitly given, but implicitly it is talking about having a psychologist in every school. Okay, that is the impact of having a psychologist in every school. That is what being discussed in statement number 1. Okay, so that is why I'm telling statement 1 is implicit. Okay, right. Second one, no, it would be an extra burden of salary of school psychologist on government. See, guys, in this type of question, you should not decide based on the word. See, psychologist, right? So based on the word psychologist, so some of you might be having, sir, the first statement is not talking about psychologist, but it talks about when you have a psychologist, it talks about the functionalities of having a psychologist, because this is like an answer to the question which is asked, right? Which is asked already, right? So definitely this is relevant to statement. Okay. Second statement, though it has some information related to psychologists, no, it would be an extra burden of salary of school psychologist on government. See, this is not talking about having a psychologist should we make a psychologist compulsory in the school or not? Okay, this is talking about a burden, right? So this is not related to the question which is asked in the statement. Okay, so this is like this cannot be accounted as a reason for having a psychologist making compulsory in every school in India. Okay, so if we have to make a psychologist compulsory in our school, we need to discuss what would be the effect. If we have a psychologist, what could be the benefits? What could be the merits and demerits? But this is having a an irrelevant factor. Definitely, this cannot be an external burden, right? So this is a very obvious reason. Having one more psychologist in a school, this is not an extra burden of salary for a government, right? So statement 2 is not implicit. Only statement 1 is implicit. Understood, everyone? Okay, so need a little bit more clarity on this. Okay, some of you. Okay, right. Let me explain once again. So this is what happens with verbal reasoning. See, statement is a question here. Okay, there is a question given here. So you should identify the assumption which is implicit. Implicit meaning which is indirectly supporting, right? Which is supporting the given statement, right? So shouldn't school psychologists be made compulsory? So this is like when I ask you a question, should you go to school? When I ask a question, should you go to school? How would your answer? So I'm asking in a negative way. That is, I'm expecting you to not to go to school. Okay, but shouldn't you be at school today? Which means that I'm expecting you to be at school, right? So here, the question is having shouldn't, which means that I should support this. Okay, which statement will support the idea of having psychologists in every school? Definitely statement number 1. Okay, statement 2 is not supporting my idea of having a psychologist in every school, right? Only statement 1 is supporting right? That is indirectly supporting. It is not directly supporting. It is indirectly supporting. Yes, it is the only way to improve the overall development and adjustment of students in all the school years. Understood now, guys? Okay. Need clarity on neither and either. Okay. So we'll discuss those things in verbal sessions, but here neither one nor two means not statement one, not statement two. Both are not implicit. That is what statement A is talking about. Okay. Neither. Okay. If it is either, right? So either means either one or two. Okay. This or that. Okay. One of them is implicit. That is what the meaning of neither or not. Okay. One of you asked this. I hope now this answer should be clear to you. Okay. When you remember this example, right? So see, should you attend the class today? Should you attend the class today? Should you go to the Goa trip? So if I ask like this, what happens? See, I mean, I'm not expecting you to go. Okay. But shouldn't you be at school? Shouldn't you be at college? So which means that I am expecting you to be at school or college, right? So what could be the supporting statement? So if you relate with that, you can easily come to the answer. Great, guys. Fine. Okay. So a paper folding question, right? A folded paper has been cut as shown in the figure. So this is the first step. So a piece of paper is there. This is where the folding is done, right? So this is the line where the folding is done. It is folded in this way. Arrow mark is like this. So the dotted line indicates now there is no paper over here. It's been folded like the triangle over here. And then with respect to this axis, with respect to this line, one more folding is being done, right? And then after folding is done, okay, it would be like a triangle, no? It would be like a clear-cut triangle like this, like an isosceles triangle. After that, they are making some cuts and holes also. Okay, so here there is a cut, then two holes are placed here, two holes are placed here, and there is a square cutting being done here. Okay, so how would the paper look when unfolded? Okay, when this is unfolded after cutting has been done, how would the paper look? Okay, so I'll show the question statement. I mean, this is the question picture, and these are the options. Analyze the pictures clearly, okay, and then answer it. Hope you can see the pictures clearly. Answer? Very good. Option D. Excellent. Yeah. So though in option D, right? So this cut, the cut which has been made here, right? Let me explain it through picture wise. Okay. So that you can understand it better. So this would be the first step. Okay. So I mean, starting from this step, then it would be made like this. If I unfold towards this direction, if I unfold towards the right or else towards the right top corner, okay. So two holes are made here. So those two holes would be definitely over here, okay. Then folding it back, right? Folding it to the left top corner. I mean, this the entire piece. Folding, no, this entire piece towards the left top corner. This should be showing like this. Okay, let me erase the ink and then show it clearly. Yeah. So this part would be like this. So if it is exactly cut, this would be like a step. Okay, this is how the step should have been, right? So 2 dots over there, and then these 2 dots would be over here, right? And then all the 4 corners would be having these 4 dots as a mirror. Fine. But this step is slightly being cranked like this. Okay, it's been distorted like this. Instead of being like this, it is like, like a spring. It has been like this. Slightly it got distorted, but following the pattern, 2 dots should be on, 4 dots, which are like mirrors to each and every corner, right? To all the 4 corners, it should be like this. So option D is the most relevant one. Understood, everyone? Like hopefully, like all of you understood this, and most of your answers were option D only, right? So it's been very clear, because 2 dots have been made at the corner. Okay, if it is to the center, if the dots have been made at the center, then there are chances for option A to be the right answer. Okay, but it is not done. Option A is not the answer. Option D. Okay, fine. So this is the question. This question will be followed by classroom exercise test. So as we, okay, how to quickly understand this paper cutting problems? Okay, so it's completely with our logical interpretation, right? So imagination. You need to imagine how it's going to be. Okay, so it's just common sense. Okay, so we need to, like, imagine how the paper cutting is going to be. Okay, let us imagine I'm going to cut this paper and then fold like this. So you like interpret your imagination towards the in a 2D dimension. Okay, in a 2 dimension. Definitely it's not going to be 3D. So in the 2 dimension, in a horizontal plane, how it is going to be, right? For cubes, okay, for cubes alone, if you are cutting it and making it as a cube, you need 3D interpretation, and there are shortcuts for interpreting cubes. Okay, but for paper folding, definitely it needs a lot of imagination. Okay. Fine then. So this is question 10. So the question is to the full page. So reading this question itself would take some time. That is where the problem lies with this type of question. More data, it will be more easy. Definitely. This is the history of TCS questions. More data, question would be easy. The steps would be very simple. So this is the decision based question, as I told. Okay, this is the decision based question. So a set of criteria is given. However, if the candidate fulfills all the above except this, so if all these conditions are satisfied, that candidate need to be selected. However, if the candidate fulfills all the above except, so remember this as condition 1, condition 2, condition 3, condition 4. Okay, like that. So the question is, what should be the case? What should we do? Based on the criteria, mark your answer by choosing the appropriate alternative. The question is, Poonam passed graduate engineering in computer science in 2015 at the age of 21 years with 78% of marks. She scored 65% in the interview as well as in the written test. She has secured 80% of marks in the HSC examination. What decision would be taken in her case? So we need to look at each and every parameter over here. She's a graduate in computer science in 2015. So check with the eligibility criteria. So the engineering graduate in IT or computer science. So this is satisfied. And then year of passing is 2015, right? So there is no data related to that. At the age of 21 years, okay, like, so as on 1/3/2020, she should not be less than 21 years and not more than 27 years. Okay. So as on 1/3/2020, her age should be, right. So that person's age should be between 22 to 27, right. So her age is 21, right. In 2015, at the age of 21. So upon 2020, so this is like 5 years, right. So totally 5 years. So in 5 years, she will be 26 years old. So she is not more than that. So second condition is also satisfied. Have secured more than 80% in HSC. So she has secured 80% of marks. Exactly 80%. But here should have secured more than 80. So there is difference between exactly 80 and more than 80, right? So what decision would have been taken? So not all the conditions are fulfilled. So come to the exception case. At a 2 and or 3. So this is a deviation in this third criteria, but has scored at least 70% in the written test and 60% in the interview. So she has scored 65% in the interview. So minimum is here 60. So it is okay. Then in the written test, at least 70, but in the written test, she scored only 65. Okay. So this is deviated again, right? 65% in the interview and the written test, but the statement 1 is saying at 2 and or 3, right? At 2 and or 3, but has scored at least 70%, at least 70% in the written test, but she scored 65% in the interview as well as the written test. Okay, so written test required 70%, but she secured 65% in interview as well as written test. So she would be rejected, right? She is not to be selected. That is okay. So as in we need to decide, right? So this is the case. So in the interview, his or her case is referred to the general manager. Okay, ignoring all these conditions only, we have to decide so whether she should be selected or not, right? So in that case, she should be referred to the general manager or HR. I'm sorry. So should be referred to the general manager or HR. She cannot be selected. It is very obvious. Okay. So either two options are there. Either refer to the general manager or HR or refer to the VP or HR. Right. So at 3 and 4, but has secured more than 75%. We need not go to the second case because it's a deviation in 2 and 3. Right. 2 and or 3. So 3 itself is a deviation. Right. So except 3 and or 4, right? In that case only she need to go. Has scored at least 60% in the written test and at least 50% in the interview. Both are satisfied. So condition 4 is not deviated. So that is why I'm not going to condition 2 here. Okay. Condition 4 in the eligibility criteria is not deviated. So 2 is not needed. With the first itself, I need to decide. So refer to the general manager HR. That is the correct answer. Got it? Okay, it's time for classroom exercise. It's 7:18. So let's take, all of you go to your nerd portal and then take the classroom exercise test. And for those who don't have access to nerd, please look into the screen. I'll change the slide one after another after 2 minutes. Okay, after every 2 minutes, I'll change the slide. So okay, need explanation in the last question. Fine then. So see, for one last time, let's be clear. She is a graduate engineering in 2015, age of 21 years. So her year of passing out is 2015, right? At the age of 21 years. So she is 21 years, right? At 2015. So as on 1/3/2020, right? She should not be more than 27 years. So 2015 age is 21. Then with if it is calculated exactly on March 1/3/2020, her age would be, even if you add +5, right? Even if you add +5, if she is completely 5 years old, right? Which means that 26 years. So this will be lying between 22 to 27. So age is not a problem for her. So she cleared the second criteria. First criteria is very straightforward. She is a engineering graduate with CSE, right? And at least 65, but she has secured 78 percentage. So first is fulfilled. Second is also fulfilled. Third, have secured more than 80 percentage in HSC examination. But here she has secured 80 percentage of marks, exactly 80. But here it is more than 80. That is why condition three is deviated. That is what I'm telling. Okay. Have scored at least 60 percentage in the written test and at least 50 percentage in the interview. She scored 65 percentage in the interview and on the written test. So both are 65. 65, here also 65. But the minimum expectation in the interview is 50 and in the written test it is 60. So condition 3 is satisfied. It is not deviating. Okay. So I'm going to consider only 3, deviation in 3, right? So coming to this deviation part, this is the deviation part at 2 and or 3, right? 2 is not the case and 4 is also satisfied. So this is not the case, right? So at 3, there is a deviation, but has scored at least 70 percentage in the written test, right? Written test 70 percentage. It is not, right? At least 70 percentage in the written test and 60 percentage in the interview. She has secured both as 65. So she didn't score 70 percentage in the written test. So she should be, this case is also violated, right? And 60 percentage in the interview in his or her case is referred to the general manager. So at least 70 percentage only she would be referred to the general manager and HR. Okay, coming to this second condition at 3, but has secured more than 75 percentage in engineering. Yes, 78 percentage is scored. So this is the case. His or her case to be referred to the VP or HR. Okay, so in that case, the answer should be VP or HR. I'm sorry. Okay, so it is VP or HR. I'm sorry, guys. So I didn't. The 70 percentage, right? So this we made a mistake. I made a mistake. So sorry. So here 70 percentage is the written test requirement, but here she scored only 65 percentage. So this condition is also not satisfied. So she has to be handled through VP HR. Okay. Okay. Darshini has a question, right? Fine. See, only one is deviated, then why should we refer to the case to GM? Okay. In that case, see, if all the conditions are not deviated, right? So at least in the last case also, if it is not satisfying the last case also, she cannot be selected. That is how I would decide. But if the candidate fulfills all the above, right? If she fulfills all the above, right, except right, all the above except 3, except one condition, right, except at one of the conditions. At the 2 and the 3, there is a slight deviation. Okay, it's like giving a chance. Okay, it's like giving a chance. That is, if there is a slight deviation in any one of the parameters in the given 4 conditions, what to be decided? Okay, so because in every interview there will be some exceptions. Okay, if the exception cases will be sent to the HR manager. That is why we are handling like this. Okay, guys. So let's take the classroom exercise. It is just for some 5 to 10 minutes only. So go to your nerd portal and then take up the test. Otherwise, look at the screen. So I'll just quickly change the slide after let's say 60 seconds. Okay, 1 minute or almost like 1.5 minutes. Okay. So this is your first question. I think this question is there, right? So we discussed this question. I think so. This is the actual question, I guess. How many are male and female among a family of 7 members? O, P, Q, R, S, T, and U. That's fine. Without referring to it, solve it and answer. Okay, so I think the time for this question is up because I started getting responses. All right, next question. Okay, next one. Sure, I will explain all the questions. Don't worry. Okay, we'll discuss all these questions once again. That is the classroom exercise questions you are taking up now. So for now, you just observe the question and answer it. Okay. Next question. Last one. Okay, done. Time up. All right. So let's discuss the questions one by one. Okay. So this is a straightforward question, which is already done, I guess. Okay. So should have given a even more difficult question, I guess. Fine. So this is actually combination of the statements one and two are necessary, right? So this is already solved. These are the 7 members of the family, and how many are male and female? Okay. So if you draw the family tree with respect, with the help of both the information and the statements, we can answer this question. So option C is the right answer. Hope everyone would have answered it correctly, right? So this is like a duplication. That's it. There some questions might get repeated in TCS. Okay, this has been happening over the years, but we cannot blindly trust on that. But we should be ready for the level of questions, right? At least for the previous year level. So that is the first expectation. Coming to the second question, in a family, 10 persons with 3 couples, B and S are brothers, and each has 2 children. E is the aunt of A, and A is the cousin sister of Y. Y is the sister of B, who is the granddaughter of K. B is the wife of K. How is K related to A? Fine. So the relation between K and A is what actually required here. Fine. So as you see, A is the cousin sister of Y, Y is the sister of B, right? So which means that A, Y, and V are of the same generation because A is the cousin sister. That is cousin who is the sister. That is like female gender. The relation cousin sister is actually wrong. Actually, we should not call it by the name as I told in the blood relations class. But as I told already, to distinguish between the genders, sometimes they'll use this word. So A is the cousin sister and Y is the sister of B, who is the granddaughter. So all of them are like Y and B are direct siblings, and A also is a sibling but not direct. Okay, cousin sister. So, but it is very clear that A, Y, and V are of the same generation, right? V, who is the granddaughter of K? V is the granddaughter of V is the granddaughter of K. So definitely K how is related to A? Whatever may be the gender, right? B is the wife of K. How can we decide the gender? B is the wife of K. So female gender. So K is the male gender, right? We should be very careful with the symbols. Okay. So Y is the sister of V. Who is the granddaughter of K? Right? V is the granddaughter of K. So Y will also be the granddaughter. A will also be the granddaughter. Okay. So if they are granddaughters means K should be the grandfather. Okay. Very easy. Without even drawing the family tree, we can answer this question. Next one. 5 cars. So this is called, I already told you, right? Ordering and ranking. Ordering and ranking kind of problem. Okay. So basically we need to arrange based on the cost. So 5 cars PQRST and the cost of car Q. Car Q is half as much as P. Q is equal to P by 2. And T is half as much as Q. So Q by 2. S is half as much as R. S is equal to R by 2. And R is equal to 3 times as much as costly than Q. So it will be 3 times of Q. That is the meaning of this word. If all the cars are arranged in ascending order of their cost, which car will be exactly in the middle? For my convenience, all these numbers are divided by 2 and this is like, multiplied, right? So for my better convenience, I'm assuming Q as 10 because ultimately, whatever may be, the relation between them are given. So I'm going to have the ascending order only. Okay. So I'm going to take Q as 10. If Q is 10, R will be 30, putting in this relation. If Q is 10, right? If Q is 10, P will be 20. Similarly, if Q is 10, T will be 10 by 2, that is 5. Then S is equal to R by 2. For the case of Q is equal to 10, R is 30, so 30 by 2 is 15. Arranging the numbers in ascending order, I have 5, 10, which I assumed, 20, that is 15, 5, 10, 15, 20, and then 30. So this is the ascending order. So 5 is nothing but T, 10 is nothing but Q, which I assumed, 15 is S, 20 is T, 30 is R. So S sits in the middle, exactly in the middle. Okay, very easy. Okay, coming to this question, this is a statement and argument based. Okay, argument based. So this is not like statement and the assumptions, right? So which we discussed already. So this is a different type. So this is followed by, the statement is followed by 3 arguments, numbered 1, 2, and 3. Decide which of the arguments is strong, important, and directly related to the question, and which are weak, not important, and not related to the central message of the question. Okay, so we can decide like, which is strong, right? If it is strong, which will be directly important and directly related to the question, and we are going to ignore as weak statements, okay, or else we have to decide it as a weak statement if it is not important and not related to the central message of the question. Okay, let's read out what is a statement first. National Education Policy 2020 predicts a new curricular and academic structure for school education that is approachable and appropriate to the needs and interests of learners at different stages of their development. Right? So the arguments are no, it is not ensuring that the quality education reaches to the students of all sections of the society. Second argument is National Education Policy 2020 improves multiple aspects of education. Students would gain better theoretical knowledge. Okay. So with respect to the data given, we have to decide as argument as strong if it is important and directly related to the question. Among the given argument, which one directly relates to the statement? Directly relates. The National Education Policy predicts a new curricular and academic structure for the school education that is approachable and appropriate to the needs, right? Approachable and appropriate to the needs and interest of learners at different stages of the development. So this is obviously nothing but the multiple aspects of education. What are all the multiple aspects of education? What are the needs of each and every learner. For an 8th standard student, this is what required. For a 10th standard student, this is what required. So these are the various multiple aspects, right? Various aspects of education at different stages. So statement 2 is actually strong. Okay, statement 2 is strong. Let's come to others. First argument, no, it is not ensuring that the quality education reaches to the students of all sections of the society. Clearly, the statement is not talking about the quality of education. It is not talking about the quality of education, right? It is talking about a prediction, right? Or else a declaration with which the national education policy impacts in the, how it addresses the needs of the learners, right, at different stages of development. So it doesn't talk about the quality of education. So statement 1 is a weak one. Okay. Argument 2 is weak. Okay. Argument 2 is strong. And statement, that is argument 3, is pretty straightforward. Argument 3 is talking about theoretical knowledge. The statement is not talking, or else not even like, indirectly, right? It is not even related to the theoretical knowledge part in the given statement. So only argument 2 is strong. Okay. Very clear. Is it okay, guys? Shall we go to the last question? So this is the arrangement question. 7 players, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U are standing in a row. Okay. So O is on the left of Q, U is on the right of R, and on the left of P. O and R have 2 players between them. S and P have 2 players between them. T is on the extreme left. Who is exactly in the middle of the row? So this is exactly like seating arrangement, right? Someone asked, right, at the beginning of the session, will seating arrangement be there? Yes, this is a kind of seating arrangement, but basically this is categorized under ordering and ranking, right? Ordering and ranking. Fine. So taking the direct clue, what is the direct clue given here? Which direct clue is nothing but the one which I can directly use, which I can directly, with which I can directly give an answer. That is called direct clue. T is on the extreme left. Okay, it is given that all are standing in a row. So there is going to be 7 slots: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So T is on the extreme left, right? Extreme left. So with respect to my order, so this is how the extreme left. This is how they have been facing. Okay, as per my assumption, T is in the extreme left. Coming to the other clues, whether we can directly plot them or not. Related to T, there is no other clue. Okay, it's better to find the related clues. As in, if I plotted a position of some, entity, I need to look for a related clue. But here in the remaining 4 statements, there is no. Let's go for some other clue over here. O and R have 2 players between them. O is on the left of Q. So this statement, the first clue talks about O, third statement talks about O, right? So I cannot directly plot here because I do not know the starting position. O is on the left of Q. So if Q is here, O will be on the left. Okay. But there can be persons in between also. So that I do not know. That is why I'm writing with some space. Okay. So which I mean as O is not the immediate left of Q. Just left. It can be immediate left also. Okay. If left means it can be immediate left, not necessarily immediate left. O is on the left of Q. Then O and R have 2 players between them. Okay. So if O and R are having 2 players, let's say if R is on this side, 2 players between them. This is how it can be. Otherwise, there is one more chance. O, Q, right? What if R is on the right side? In that case also, I can have 2 players between them. If R is on the right side also, there can be 2 players. Definitely, Q will be a part in that. Okay. Then, one more clue. U is on the right of R. Now that I know some approximate position of R, U is on the right of R and on the left of P. U is on right of R and left of P. So firstly, let's plot U. U is on the right of R. So U is to right of R. So it can be either here or here also. It could be right, or else it can be anywhere over here. But the thing is, and U is on the right of R on the left of P. So which means that P will be on the right side of U. Okay. If U is on the right side of R, right, and on the left of P, right, to P, U should be on the left side. Okay. But if you see over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and T, this is how the arrangement could be, right? So because there are only 7 people, so TR dash dash OQ, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is how the arrangement could be. Otherwise, if you plot U somewhere, right? If you have more spaces in between, the arrangement will exceed 7 players. This is one possibility. If you plot this clue in the second arrangement, okay, U is on the right of R. U is on the right of R and to the left of P. If this is like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. T is over there. Okay. S and P have 2 players between them. S and P will have 2 players between them. So P is over here. So there will be 2 persons and then S will come. Right. So like let's plot this arrangement first. Okay. S and between S and P, there will be 2 persons. So this is one possibility, first possibility, right? So O is on the left of Q, then O and R have 2 players between them. So 1 and 2, this will be portion of R. I mean, I'm writing the second possibility, okay? Don't get confused. U is on the right of R and left of P. So in this case, S will be here because between S and P, there will be 2 players, right? And then T, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 people over there. Now you check all the conditions. S and P, 2 persons are there between them. O and R, 2 persons are there. Then U is on the right side of R and to the left of P. So there are 2 arrangements possible. Okay. So in these 2 arrangements, first arrangement, S is the middle one. In the second arrangement, okay, so like in this, we are missing out something. Let me erase this part so that we can have the second possibility clearly. So clearly, this arrangement satisfies all the relation. So this is 1. But in the middle, S is not there. Okay, the options are not there. Okay, but this is a possible arrangement because it satisfies all the conditions. Okay, so we look for one more possibility if it is so. So O is on the left of Q, T is on the extreme left, right? Then O and R have 2 players between them. So here O is taken to the right side. But here now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take R to the left side. Okay, so 2 players between R and O and R. Right? Now U is on the right of R and to the left of P. S and P should have 2 players between them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 slots are completed. So we have to plot S and P in this slot only. Okay. So where S and P can be, we have to plot P with respect to U, R, and U is on the right of R. So this is where U can be, and to the left of P, right? So P can be here and S can be, okay, sorry. right? So between S and P, we have two players. So in the possibility two, S and P are to the right side, right? S and P are to the right side. What if S is over here? Two persons are between S and P like this. If this is also one more arrangement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is also possible, no? So in this case, U is on the right of R. So U could be at this point, and to the left of P, yes, here. So TR TRUP, right? And then OQS. So we can place O over here, right? Then only we can have between P and S, there will be two persons. Okay. Otherwise, we'll get the same arrangement again. So TRUP, okay, OQS. In this arrangement, what happens? Between P and S, there are two persons, right? The thing is, in the second arrangement, S and P is the order, right? First comes S and then after P. But reverse also possible, no? In that case also it is possible, because they didn't mention any direction. First comes P and after S. Okay, so in this case also P comes in the middle. So P is the right answer. P is in the extreme end, and between O and R there are two players. That is U and P. Okay, so this is a incomplete data arrangement. That is, we have possibilities also, right? This is not, we cannot have only one answer. If S is also there, then both S and P are the possibilities, right? So we have to choose the most desirable answer, which is based on the first possibility, answer P. So that's all for today, guys. So we will have the next session for verbal on day after tomorrow. Okay, or else hopefully like whenever it is declared. So tomorrow is going to be technical session. So immediately, like what you have to do is you have to go to nerd portal and then take the practice exercise. So those who are already there, right? Fine. So if there are any doubts, please let me know. Please remember all the concepts. So remember the topics also, whatever we have discussed, right? Especially like this. Yes, remember all the types of questions and the number of questions also, right? And the ways to solve it. And remember the shortcuts also we have learned, right? So for example, for solving letter series and the number series problems and all, we learned some shortcuts. So please do practice more questions. Go to the practice test on the nerd portal and practice it well, and come back to the next session. Thank you so much, guys. If there are any doubts, please post it. Okay, Gokul has a question. Okay, in this question, you cannot decide the gender of you. You cannot decide the gender of you without the data from statement 2. Okay, that is the reason. Okay, related to data arrangements, it's all about the possibilities we are writing it, guys. Okay, so the based on the like the ways we proceed, there are no other way. Some data arrangements would be like based on guesses, based on the assumptions only. Let's say yes comes in this side. Okay, so both the cases we have to consider, and in most of the questions, if you consider both the cases, one of them will get eliminated. Okay, I mean the given clues cannot be plotted in the different set of arrangement. Okay, in that case you can neglect that, but there are cases wherein some other there are like three possible arrangements also might come, so no other way, so that questions will take some time. So because the questions will be of difficult I mean different levels, there will be easy questions also, there will be medium, there will be difficult questions also, right? Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. So we'll catch up day after tomorrow. Okay, in the verbal session. So be prepared and attend the. Yes, there is a question. Yeah, these questions like are previous TCS questions only. Okay. Minimum possible arrangements. Yeah, usually it will be two. Okay, like more than two and all, like very rare case. Two possible arrangements would be the level of difficulty it will be asked. Okay, right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. So let's catch up day after tomorrow. Have a nice day. Thank you.